Hi, I'm Pam East, and today I'm going to show you how to screen enamels for clarity. When you buy enamel, the material in the jar is called 80 mesh enamel. That means the particles are everything that pass through a screen with 80 holes per linear inch. And you get everything that goes through that screen, from the 80 mesh size particles all the way down to the smallest particles that are called fines. Those super fine particles will cause your enamel to be cloudy. So screening them out and size grading your enamel will improve the clarity of your finished results. Let me show you how to do it. Before you start, you do need to wear a mask while you're doing this. This is going to put a lot of glass dust in the air, and that is very bad for your lungs. So always wear an N95 or higher mask. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. All right, there we go. And now I'm ready to assemble my screens. The 325 mesh is the finer screen. It refers to holes per linear inch. So the more holes per linear inch, the finer the screen. And I'm going to put a 1/4 on that, and that is going to help push the enamel through the screen. And I put that on a pan. And this is the 150 mesh screen and a 1/4. And put that right on top of the 325 mesh. And now I'm ready to screen my enamels. I'm going to be doing some aqua blue today, and if you're just doing an ounce of enamel, go ahead and do the whole thing. You don't want to do more than that because it'll be too hard to get it through the screen, but if it's just 1 ounce, you can do the whole jar. So I'm going to just empty that right out, and I'm going to put the cap on it so I don't put too much dust in the air. You still have to wear a mask because when you open it, dust you can't even see is going to be coming up. But you don't need to put excess in there or have it splashing around. I'm going to go around and back and forth. You can hear the quarters doing their job. Turn it. It probably only takes about 30 or 40 seconds to do the whole thing. I call this the enamel dance. So you think you got it all screened out, you just tap it down and then open her up. There it is. This is 8150 mesh. It's everything that went through an 80 mesh screen but did not go through a 150 mesh screen. That's what's sitting on top. And I'm going to actually use the jar that it came in to store that, but I'm going to mark it so I know it's screened. So this is now 8150. And just in case you get your lids and your jars mixed up, put it on the side of the jar too. 8150. So you can see that I have marked this as 8150. It's already labeled with what enamel it is. And I'm just going to make like a paper funnel here. And I'm going to put that right on there, and then I can use the paper to pour that back into the jar. And that is my screened 8150 mesh. And then for the 150, this is now 150 325 mesh. That's everything that went through the 150 mesh screen but did not go through the 325 mesh screen. This is what I'm going to use over my textures to make the textures appear very clearly underneath the enamel. And just like before, I'm going to put it into the paper funnel. And now I'm going to pour it into a condiment cup, which I have marked with the size. So this is the 150 325 mesh. I've also written what the color is on it. And together, there I've got my 2 screenings, and they're ready to use. Now in this pan, I have the fines. This is the junk that makes the enamel cloudy. It does not make good counter enamel. It will drip off the back of your piece. I don't save this, I just throw it out. There are some enameling applications that use fines, such as Limoges, but I don't use them, so I just throw them away. And I can always get more, because if you rescreen this, you'd end up with more. There's always just a little bit more. But this is what you wanted to get out of there, so I'm going to throw that out. When you're done with your screens, don't wash them, never put water on them, but you can just tap them out onto, like here's my paper, I can tap it out on there, and I can wipe them out with a paper towel. And that's all I ever do before I move on to the next screen. When you go to use your enamels, let me get this stuff out of my way. When you go to use your screened enamel, like say I'm using my 150-325 mesh, I don't want to wet all of this. I do a lot of wet packing, and I don't want to wet this whole thing. It's going to be a waste of enamel. You really need very little when you're doing enameling. So I'll mark a spoon. You can also use disposable contact lens cases, any small thing that you can put enamel in. Let's see. So this is 150, 325, and it's 25, 20 aqua. So I've written that on the spoon. And then when I'm getting ready to use the enamel, I'm just going to take out a little bit. And that's actually enough for most projects right there. You're going to find that you don't need as much as you think you do. A little bit goes a long way. And this conserves your enamel. You're going to end up wasting a lot less enamel if you use it in this way.